welcome to Animating the Myrmidon, take 2. I know we said that we were going to be doing a fidget, but let's kill him. All right, get out of here, John.
Shut up.
Go. Making me look bad. Give me some coffee. Cook some coffee.
Yeah. Pee in a cup.
Delicious.
Thanks, John.
Okay, where was I? We were going to do a fidget, but I decided, let's kill him. The Myrmidon has to die. He's been raging. He's been fighting. We have to kill him. What do you think, Cook?
I think it sounds great.
All right, let's get to it. Today I have been working on blocking out the big pieces of the action. This is a very big animation. Like, there's a lot of acting going on. There's some action going on. Yesterday we sat around. We discussed, how are we going to kill this guy? How is he going to die? We had to make this different from everybody else. We can't pull from the same well, or else what happens to that well, Cook?
Dries up.
It runs dry. Yes, it dries up. So I want to make him feel different than the champion. The champion just kind of like doesn't believe he's dead, and he falls over backwards like a giant tree. This one, he's going to go down fighting, because this is what the Myrmidon does. He just doesn't go out like a champion. So let's look what I have right now. If you can see all these little black dots down here, these are all the keyframes that I have set up for today. So let's go ahead and step through them. So he's dying, he's kind of staggering around, he's still trying to get some hits in, and then he collapses to the ground. Gonna have him breathe for a couple of beats, try to get one last hit in, and then collapse to the ground. Down. Beautiful. All right, well, that's it for today, and I hope you guys...
Perfect.
Yeah, we'll see you next live stream.
Yeah, I think that's done.
All right, yeah. Okay, for those of you that this is the first live stream, what I am using is 3D Studios Max 2017. This is one of the two main animating softwares that we use in the industry. It's Maya or Max. It's just a different tool. You can get beautiful animations out of them regardless. So some of the major hotkeys that you use in Max is QWERTY. So Q selects, W brings up the translate tool so I can translate them. E will bring up the rotate tool. R, scale. So that's some of the big ones. And what is the first thing that we always do when we start animating? Turn on
Auto key.
auto key. So, like, John, if you could put the auto key here in between my hands, just like
That it doesn't work like that.
this is.
There it
I've
is.
seen on Conan O'Brien. I've seen them do that. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have that.
Anyway, always turn on your auto key. I already have it on right now. Turn it off, turn it back on again. So if you don't have the auto key on, whatever you do is just going to basically like override all the animation instead of just specifically on that keyframe. So always turn on your auto key. Okay, let's get into this. Right now I have left a couple of spaces where we can do some in-betweens. So here, kind of going into this, we want him to kind of stagger into this and kind of like drag his arm. He's dying, so he doesn't have that much energy. So I'm going to select all the controls. I'm going to select all my keyframes, and then I'm going to give it a little bit of a space here. So this gives me some blank room to make my keyframe. So I'm going to select this keyframe here, hold down Shift, drag it. That's going to copy the keyframes. So 0 and 1 are exactly the same. This basically puts it in like a step mode so that I have like a clean slate to work with. I'm not having to fight like the other keys around it. Or if I want to like work with what the computer gives me as an in-between, I can just, leave that key open. So stepping back and forth between these keys. So here to here. Well, we kind of want to anticipate this anticipation. So we don't want him going like directly over. So what we got to do is we want to shift his weight more this way so that he goes this way, and then also like drag the arm So that was probably the main reason why I originally copied this key. So I'm going to push his hips this way. I'm going to bring it up a little bit. I'm going to start dropping the arms because he has absolutely no will to live anymore besides just to kill. Get one last kill in. Rotating arms, dropping it down. And I am always checking before and after. Okay. Drop this arm down. Bring it down. Give this some lax. Let's drop the head. Kind of want the head just to kind of be doing this during the entire thing. He's not quite there. Only thing he has left is his thirst for murder. Okay, so going right are his left, and then left are his right. So anticipating the anticipation. All right, we probably need to drag the arm more, going from this pose to this pose. Just kind of like limp noodle it. He's slinging it around. I refer to this as Morgan Freeman's dead hand. Google it. Seriously, it's creepy. Alright, let's keep on dragging this. Stepping back and forth. Maybe drag the chest a little bit more.
So put more drag on the axe head.
And we always want that axe head facing down. Got to kind of clear the knees with it. And select the shoulder. Let's drop the axe head more. So that kind of gives us some drag into this. Like, basically, instead of the arm getting the action, the chest is flinging the arm. And so this is more of a kind of a whip-like motion instead of like the power being in here. Still with the strike, everything kind of comes from the hips, but you still have muscles going from the hips all the way up through the arm, giving it power all the way around. What happens here is the power kind of stops at the chest, and the arm is like just gives like probably 10% of the power that it normally would. And also what happens when you do actions like this, you're leading with the chest, it's dragging the arm. And then what happens is if you have something weighty on the end of it, it will drag the chest a little bit. So have like the chest kind of like coming in here. So I can kind of do the same here. We have two big actions here, so I could probably give us an in-between here to kind of get more drag into this action. All right. Is John really not getting us coffee?
I don't think so. I'm very disappointed.
He wasn't so beautiful, I would hate him. All right, so if you see, the computer kind of gives us a nasty in between here, and that's not something I want to see. So what's the word for today, Cook? Drag.
Drag.
Drag. Let's drag the chest a little bit. Let's drop the
And
axe.
yes, the Myrmidon is going to be a blue-violet color.
Yeah, this is
The concepts actually had him in that color before Eric even started modeling him.
kind of have to drag this other arm here.
Oh, a coffee train tiger. That's a good idea. I like that.
But I know, like, I would punch the tiger before it ever got the coffee to me. It's like two
No, you
competing
punch it into
instincts.
submission so that it gets you the coffee.
I'm listening.
No, this was Kent's idea.
Oh, Kanth. Hey, Kanth. How's it going, man? All right, so let's drag this forearm. Let's bring this down here. Again, the chest is flinging this arm out. So we could probably... If I stop talking, it's because I'm thinking. I can't do two things at once. There you go. All right. So I'm still just, you know, when you're working with a pose, I kind of work up and down the chain. Like the arm's in FK mode right now, so everything gets fed down the chain. So if I move the arm, it kind of repositions forearm. I need to reposition this and kind of go it down. But then I'm always looking at the line of action and just adjusting this up and down. Probably, yeah, pick up the hips a little bit. Might want to stick this foot, leave it back here, and then have it drag. Pull the hips up, pull the chest up, down.
Is creating animations with motion capture very expensive, Doggett?
Financially, yes.
The setup is.
Yeah, the setup is that you like buying your own mocap studio is expensive, and then you have to get actors to get in the suit.
It can save a lot of time as far as the development goes, because you don't have to do everything by hand like we do here.
You can get like 20 animations in a day, but then you have to go back in and clean it up. And then also what you get, you're stuck with. So if you need to make any real tweaks to it, you have to go back to the mocap studio. I personally don't like mocap. If you look at like any of the big animated films, anything from Disney and Pixar, they still do hand keyframe animations. They still do this technique. You can't mocap a dragon. You can't mocap a horse. You can't mocap somebody with super strength. If you do, it doesn't quite feel right. Like you go and look at something like Polar Express, then you go and look at something, or Polar Express or Beowulf, then you go and look at something like The Incredibles. The Incredibles, the movement is just so much better, fantastic, like richer. Whereas, even though it is like literally taken frame by frame from real life, it feels dead to me, and I think most people would agree on that.
Right.
So you kind of sacrifice a little bit of quality and flexibility when you go with mocap, but we prefer to go with hand keyframe animations because these guys are,
Stylized.
Exactly. All right, so I can play with this pose all day, but I'm just going to call it right here so we can get on to a little bit more of the meat. Scrubbing through it, I'm trying to keep his feet kind of moving but not too steppy. So the idea is like the hips are overshooting the feet, which forces the feet to kind of reposition. So that's where you get like the drunk kind of like wobble. So let's look at it one more time before we go into the blockout pass. And save. Or like the timing pass. Listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just lucky to be here. Okay, swing. When I get into the timing pass, I'll probably hold this for a couple of beats before collapsing them just to build up the drama. Collapse, have him breathe on the ground. Very, very dramatic. You don't understand. Okay, and then come up. This is probably something that I'm going to turn into a moving hold when we get here. This is kind of my antic or anticipation to the swing. And so we'll look at the swing from a different angle. Swing and just dead. Blah. All right. Save. Select everything. We're animating in 30 frames per second. So every 30 frames is a full second. So we have to think about that when we're timing stuff out. I usually just get a giant chunk of the timeline. Control-Alt, right-click will expand your timeline on the right. Control-Alt, left-click will do the same thing on the other side. For those of you that are beginning animators and Max. So 160 frames, we might need a little bit more, but this will at least give us like an initial feel for everything. Guys, this is going to be ugly. It's always ugly when you like first time it out. So Let's be patient with it. Okay, so I select all the keys. And if you see right here, I have this little bar, and I can expand it out. And so it's kind of uniformly expanding all the keys. I'm just going to pull this all the way to the end. Like round numbers, 160. All right, let's see this.
Get ready for this. Whoa.
Blah, blah, blah. Okay. That's what I thought it was going to be.
Perfect. Now we can put a fork in it and call it done.
Call it done. Let's go home, people. All right, so now I'm still grabbing all the keyframes and I'm kind of moving it. Did you notice the lack of coffee in his hand? Gonna make this like even right now, you know, every 5 frames. So drag it. So we got, this is kind of our first big action here. So let's take everything after here. Let's just get it out of our way. So we just concentrate on this first part. We're not worried about anything else. So let's give us plenty of time that we can expand. Everything's still there. So
Gibson said, "Get your own coffee, Doggett."
where's this one going? Okay, yeah, it's still kind of sorry. A little bit of settle. So I'm scrubbing back and forth. It doesn't give us like a real playback speed, but it gives us like kind of a preview. So we gotta, I don't like that arc there. I wanna, it's kind of like going linear here. There also might be some gimbal, so we'll see it soon. Drop it. So let's bring this back in. I want this to happen a little bit quicker. Let's give it a little bit more time here. This kind of stood out to me when I was playing it back. Beginning's really, really fast. No, no, there we go. Let's grab these, let's give it some more space here. Still a little too quick at the beginning.
Dance club videos? What is that?
You never seen those? They've got like, they're like goth. They got like neon hair and stuff, and they're dancing under an overpass. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, and it has like Thomas the Train playing in the background. Don't ask me why I know this.
It's like the internet in one video, like just summarized in one video.
Yeah, these like they have all gene code genes and stuff like that. Like apparently, like they're coming back in style. Okay, see how the foot down here is kind of sliding. So what I like to do when I make a step over is I just copy this keyframe and then just kind of pick it up, rotate it down, so it gives it a little bit of a step. We can lock it down a little bit more here. So still a little stiff, but the timing is getting there. So here is, probably need to lead more of the chest here. So we're getting this motion a little bit more. So that way that the arm has a little bit better drag on it. Don't be afraid to like modify your key poses. this down. So then drag it here. Feels better, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Probably needs to explode out here, so you remember what I said about like where the power is. Where is the power in the animation? The power's in the chest, but the thing is, it gets flung out. The power goes to the tip of the hand here. This is where the weight is. And so the hand is going to start pulling the body down and around. So power leaves the chest. Now it's starting to pull it down here. Yeah, maybe I can have this step over. Let's adjust the head. Said Minotaur.
Keith recommended that maybe we should lean him back a bit more with the swing. So that arm kind of pulls the chest back a little bit more.
Oh yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah. So we can go ahead and have like lean it back, but you want to kind of push the hips forward to some kind of semblance of balance. And so the hips are up, they're down, they're kind of flat here, so we probably want to delay the keyframe on the hips just a little bit and have it go down further and back and out. And then this pose, I want it to be like the hips and the upper body to be closer to this than to this. Yeah, he's still just kind of recovering from this action here. So let's drop this. Let's point that arm to the ground. So let's see what that looks like. Thank you, Kath. We can probably make this action here a little quicker. So I'm just going to grab everything from here to here, and I'm just going to scale it in. Scale in the keys. And then I could probably just bring all this over. Sometimes a frame makes the entire difference in the world. Okay, let's move on to some of the other parts of the animation. All right, so let's see. Yeah. All right, so I want to hold it probably here a little bit longer and then have him dip into this pose and then lead out with the other shoulder. So I'll select everything and I'm just going to flat out just copy this key. So give it a little bit of time. It's just going to look flat, but I'm going to just kind of cushion into this pose a little bit more, drop the shoulder, always having this arm pointing to the ground. Straighten this out. What's that? Maybe we should just go straight to this pose. Yeah, because it looks weird because he's trying to go up. Or we can just swap these poses. Give it time to read, so. Let's see. Let's drop the hips up into it. Drop the chest. Have the arm come around. Forearm, drag It's not a science. And so here's one of the parts that I was talking about that needs an in-between. So, let's see, I want the power to peak here, so let's make the arm go out, fly out here, this, here. And then that way, when we kind of come over to here, that's when we have the chest get dragged down into this. And this is another pose that we're going to have to adjust. Weird. I don't like it. So
Sticking his arm out, not moving his chest very much on that one.
yeah, and also, you know, like what I can do is I copy these keyframes and gave it like a little bit of room here, and so what I can do is like kind of a micro anticipation, pull it down, pull this down, so it gives more energy into the up, like that. And I don't know, I like this. Hips.
Saying the timing on the swing feels a little fast.
For this part right here, or up here?
I think for the first one.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of feel that too.
He is dying.
Yeah. Just that.
Ruled by committee.
Give it some more time.
Put a head roll into the end of the second swing. I kind of agree. I think the head could be a little looser.
Yeah.
But that, I think a lot of that secondary motion can come closer to the end also, once we get the general feel for the animation down.
Yeah, but yeah, it's still a good.
For sure.
Yes, it's good eye there. Yeah, usually like I'm kind of concentrating more on like kind of the base of the body, like the hips, the chest, and like this and the arm that's doing the action. I kind of go in and like after I get that feeling good, then I kind of put in stuff for the head. But you're with the animation, you're constantly going back and forth. Yeah, because you can get kind of like a weird like head movement here that really stands out. Yeah. You just knock off the. There you go. Drag the head more. And then keep dragging the head. Still don't like this. Still feel like I should dead arm it a little bit more. Get like kind of, there we go, up, out, drop it down. I think this keyframe was like where he kind of pulls it all together. All right. Just want to give it a little bit more timing here before we push more with the hips. It's kind of like some funkiness going on in here, like as I'm made these new poses and trying to get it to kind of come in here. And I might have done a little bit too much into like trying to get the energy and shifting back and forth instead of just kind of letting it flow a little bit better. Like sometimes you
overwork.
Yeah, you overwork. You overthink it. So also that head is bothering me. It's kind of moving around too much. Yeah, it feels better. Just push these hips off balance. Make them uncomfortable. What's being said, Cook?
We're talking about if the animations are handled client side, and if you want to make the animations kind of slow down as your hit points get lowered, but that's a lot of overhead that we don't really have time to fix. Which the comments have gone on to talk about. So, X narcs, whatever, I don't know how to say that. Says his head keeps looking forward all the time, and it makes it feel a little awkward.
Yeah.
Which
it depends. Like certain animations, if you're fully conscious of it, you're kind of like looking at whatever you're doing. Your head will kind of focus in on it. This one, the head's almost going to be treated like a wet noodle. And this is something that, you know, again, it's kind of like, you know, you ever polish a stone or a gemstone, you get like a rough cut in there, and then you have like different levels of polish. And it's something like the head, I'm kind of like knocking off the rough edges so it doesn't like completely look bad. But then like I'll go in there like with like a finer brush and like really kind of like lull the head around, give it like a lot more like overlapping and secondary motion.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean like the head's just gonna be dragging through all of this.
Yeah, that feels really good. The way the head just kind of flops over the side there.
Yeah. Could happen a little bit quicker and kind of clean up the arcs on it. Like you don't want to throw out the chin for this. No, you don't. But I can spend all day on the head right now. We only got about an hour.
I'm saying it looks a lot better.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm going to concentrate and I'm going to knock off the rough edges, but still a little bit of storytelling that we have left to do, like in this timing phase, this timing like rough out phase. So this key pose, or like this to this is where he's falling down and catches himself. So make this happen a little bit sooner. We kind of, like, I always think of like a falling tree. When you have somebody big that's kind of collapsing to the ground, you have like a lot of drag, and then it accelerates into the ground, so it, you know, like hits hard. So we want like from here to kind of take a little bit of time, and then it like hits. And all throughout here, all this breathing is just going to be building up to the drama for the last, like, if you're ever like in a fight, or if you're like about, you know, like some kind of sport, and you're just exhausted, and you're just getting that last bit of strength, that last bit of energy, you're gathering yourself up, you know, to try and do something. Mm-hmm. So that's the thought through here with this right here. So you kind of have to give it some time to settle in. So I'm just going to drag this last one really far out. This is a long animation, but it's a death. You're not really like locked into it. The camera kind of moves on.
Yeah, the scorecard comes up, and so pretty much only the people that killed you are going to see this for now.
Yeah, and it's a good opportunity also when you're doing a death, is to try and put like the last bit of character in this guy. So, yeah, I don't like this pose. He's too upright. I think I want to still kind of like lean him into this, drag the head. I don't know, how do we want to get into this? We might want to copy this and then have him maybe pull the heads forward, drag this back, get the head out of the chest. That looks funny.
What?
Get him off balance. Kind of get an arc going up through here, like. If I don't entertain myself, who will?
Well, that's what I have you for.
Keep you in check.
Well, and to be my entertainment.
Yeah.
Doggett, James Goblin says you would make a fortune by selling your body to motion capture studios.
You know, there was like one point that I was thinking about selling a kidney. Like, I was like, you know, I bet I can get some money. Like, you know, like selling parts of my body. Like, you only need one kidney. Come on, people. Half a liver. Like, get it to some like tech billionaire.
Half a liver.
Oh, liver grows back.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. I can sell half my liver.
I've seen you drink, Max.
That's a good idea, dog.
You don't have liver to spare.
Wow.
Okay, let's give this a little bit of time.
Is this going to be the only death animation for the Minotaur? Probably.
Probably. Well, we're going to have like a non-combat death where the axes are starting out on his hips. And I think we're talking about this today, that we're going to use most of this animation, but it's going to start out by him pulling out his axes, like he's going down fighting. So the first part of it, instead of starting here, is going to start in the non-combat idle pose with the axes, you know, sheathed on the hips. So he's going to kind of unsheath and go into it.
That way we can reuse this without having to take up too much time.
Yeah, you're talking like we're
Repurposing it.
already at like 215 frames, and ideally in a day I can do about 90 to 120 frames cleanly. Like it's ready for the game. I'm happy with it. So this is something that kind of like carries over, day to day, and so we're there. There's a lot of polish that goes into it, and just kind of redirection sometimes. So let's move this foot up here. Kind of step.
Tarantino says you need half of your liver to grow back, so don't give the whole thing away.
Hence the reason why I said max do not.
And yes, Crowfall is a PvP game.
Heavily PvP. I remember when we were doing QA at Aspire, we were always talking about stuff that we would want to in an MMO. This was back like when WoW first came out, and we were like geeking out over the PvP and like just stuff that we really wanted in there to like just make it like feel good, because there's nothing like owning somebody like a complete stranger, like just ruining their day.
Going gnome hunting, and we're like, why kill anything else but other people? And this is kind of like a dream game to work on, like a heavy PvP, nice fantasy, like lots of lore. That's something Todd's always been good at with his games, is really nice lore. Yeah, let's see how that looks. He needs to hit the ground a lot quicker, doesn't he, Cook? Yes, he does.
And so so everything doesn't like hit at the same time. Probably right in here, we are switching from IK or to FK, from FK to IK. So there's going to be a little bit of clunkiness coming in here. So I'm like, if you notice between these keys, it's going from FK, which is forward kinematics, to IK, which is inverse kinematics.
You can explain how that works with your arm.
Google. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so forward kinematics. As I was talking about before, like the arm drives the forearm, drives the hands, drives the fingers. So everything comes from up here. So if I'm adjusting me, moving this, moving this, moving this, moving this. Now inverse kinematics is kind of like what the name implies, is completely inverse. So I am moving it from the hand. So I am grabbing the hand, and then I am moving the arm, and everything else kind of comes with it.
Right.
So this is a good way to like place a hand or stick it to something. Sees how he's like hitting the ground, he's going to be sticking it to the ground. If it's FK, every time I move the chest, the hand will kind of like move around.
Right. This way we can lock down the hand on the ground and still have the freedom to move his chest around and make it breathe and fall or whatever.
Exactly. So I'm going to try and get him to reach the ground, like have this hand hit a little bit before everything else does. So. And so we kind of have like natural cushioning in here with like this breathing. So let's see what it plays like. And we can do things like, I'm kind of dragging the head here. I probably want to drag the head and the neck a little bit more so that it flops. So I'm going to key it here, and then I'm going to drag out like I'm just selecting the head and the neck, and I'm going to drag it out maybe a couple of frames. So that, wow, that snap, what's going on here?
You're only getting the head, you're not getting the neck.
Yeah, something weird.
Maybe just how far you're going to.
Yeah.
Doggett,
Yes.
what made you guys pick this type of animation for a death animation instead of, for example, a more generic, shorter animation? Because we like pain.
We like pain. I was actually just like originally, because we only had an hour to do like the kind of like the tree falling animation, like where he just kind of like falls flat on his face, which is only a couple of poses, kind of goes into it. But I wanted to show a little bit more acting on this, and also Melissa.
And it fits his character more, kind of the whole berserker mentality. This is the guy that, he doesn't feel the pain until he's already, exploded, right? So this kind of goes along with that, where we can have him go out fighting, not just, oh, my hit points are gone now, I'm dead. Let's see here, what else? Doggett. Which archetype do you want to animate the most? I don't know if we can talk about that. Can we?
Yeah, I mean, I answered it in the last stream. It was the Ganetian. I excel at like the small, like funny shaped characters. Like I like the idea of this like little guy just being like badass, like Reepicheep from Chronicles of Narnia. Like this little guy just wrecking face, So hopefully I can get like small and cute but badass, like kind of read through. There's similar characters that we animated on when I worked for a title on Pirate 101, and those were usually like really fun to do. All right, so the hips kind of dying here, so like a bouncing ball. Kind of want them like to go down a little bit further and then kind of settle. So some trick you can do here is just kind of go past the animation and just key it to kind of like hold your spot. Then you go to where that keyframe is to just push it down. So you get like that. And depending on how much like down you want, I can like adjust that by like just going in between these two keyframes, keying it, then overriding that down pose so it's not so bouncy. It gives them a little bit more weight. Okay, so I think we're kind of running up on time, so let's like this area through here kind of feels good, so like this is going to need to happen sooner. Pull it in, scrub through. This can happen right about here, and these need to happen a lot sooner.
I think Kat has a cool question.
Yeah, why not go for ragdoll animations? Wouldn't that look better than the same death animation over and over again?
Ragdoll is unpredictable. It's also expensive because it runs physics on it. It's kind of a pain to set up, and also like usually you get like you can blend animation with ragdoll, but you end up like spending so much time kind of tweaking it. Like I kind of used it before. It's like sometimes it looks good, sometimes like it doesn't. Like ragdoll will be perfect if you get blown off like a wall, and like you're dead, and then it's just settling there. This is more like he's run out of health, and you don't want to ragdoll that stuff.
Right.
And like given the time, I can like make like the collapse look really good. It's going to look the same, but I would use ragdoll in like different situations, like more extreme. Like you get blown up in the air, and then you're dying, and you're hitting the ground, then it's all like kind of ragdolly there.
It's all ragdolly.
Ragdolly. It's a real term. So let's see what we got here. It still needs a lot of work, but we only had about an hour to kind of time this out. So I'm going to continue to be like working on this like through tomorrow, and those of you that follow me on Twitter, I can put up the final video for you guys just to see like what it takes to what you can see like it through like this like very beginning early stage, and then like what I would call complete.
What's your Twitter, Doggett?
It is Doggett 3D. Just put it in between my hands.
At Doggett 3D.
At Doggett 3D. 2 G's, 2 T's.
Show up in the chat.
Oh. So the chat's going to put in between my hands?
Yes, Doggett. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Like ice slicing through a samurai blade.
Oh, no.
You got to keep things interesting during the day. So me and Cook have arguments, so they're ongoing.
You fight with me just to get a rise out of me.
Yet you
And
still
I can't resist.
Yeah, you still argue. You still this is what's one of your favorite quotes, Cook?
Can't argue with a fool.
Yet you do every day.
I do every day.
All right, so kidding aside. So let's concentrate on this last part. I feel like most of the rough edges are off. Like we use the rough sandpaper to kind of get it to this point. Like we can tell what's going on. Like most of the timing is there. Like most of the poses are there. We get a feel for it. Like it might be too long. Melissa or Blair or Todd might come back and go what the hell are you thinking? Let's cut this down to 2 seconds instead of 6. So I might just have him do the normal collapse. But I wanted to show you guys my thought process on acting and action.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a good example of doing this. So
Yeah, that last swing as he dies is pretty awesome.
It is. It's pretty good. Mudarim says they love the final swing before death.
thanks guys. Yeah, that one was one of those cases where you kind of block it out and pose it out and it works.
Gibson says to stop saying like.
Like potato. Alright, so I'm going to potato this arm down a little bit quicker. So let's concentrate just on this last part. So I think what I want to do is I want the hand to unfold out, and then when it hits, just give a little bit of settle so we can bring it all the way out through the fingertips. And that's also something I kind of want to do up in here is when he's letting go of the axe or having some space switching issues, so you can see the axe kind of wobbling. I can lock that down. I want to as he's letting go of the axe, just kind of have the fingers kind of curl out, just subtleties, sprinkles of the animation.
Sure.
So that's something that I'm going to be concentrating on later on. Okay, let's get back to it. So let's have the form and the hand. Probably want to just drag it, so I'm kind of offsetting these. Probably a little bit quicker.
Is he going to make mooey sounds from time to time, or during some special animations or sillies?
Well, when I was auditioning for the part of the Minotaur, Todd said no. I was thinking move out of the way! And he hates my ideas.
He crushes your dreams on a daily basis.
I know. And then I go and crush other people. So let's grab the finger controls. Let's curl these up just a little bit. Have them.
Kappa John wants to know if these swings that he's doing on the death are going to do any damage since he's going out swinging. I think that would be a question for Blair.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think he should. I think he should do a little bit of AoE damage because the druid, when she dies, she releases a death orb.
Mm-hmm.
And the legionnaire, doesn't he his death animation, he
He
does
throws
something.
thing in the air. It's supposed to give some buff to his team, but I don't know if that's hooked up yet.
Yeah, and so like I think all the guys kind of had like do something in the end, and this also leads into like why we're doing it like a full-on animation instead of just ragdolling them, because actually it'd be kind of funny, like Morgan Freeman, like, hello, I'm Morgan Freeman.
Oh God! You just touched my face. Your dead hand.
It's not my hand.
It's Morgan Freeman's dead hand.
Morgan Freeman's dead hand.
Are we still talking about Morgan Freeman's dad?
Go
No,
like
it all
so he
comes
got in
back
a,
to that.
yeah
It's circular.
he got in a car
Circular
wreck like
mix.
5 or 6 years ago, and like he like had severe nerve damage in his hand, and so a lot of scenes in the movies after that, like Dark Knight Rises, you see him like climbing a ladder and you see him like flop that dead hand over the rung. It's like, and like most of the time he's like hiding that hand. But it's Morgan Freeman. His voice just like covers everything else. You don't notice it. You're like, your brain goes dead hand, but you hear Morgan Freeman's voice and you're like,
It's Morgan Freeman.
I feel comfortable. Yeah.
I'm okay with this.
It's like you guys get a radio show. Fucking Doggett.
Ooh. Will Minotaur corpses be harvestable for beef? We do have that new
I
food
think they
mechanic.
should be.
Dude, totally.
I asked earlier if the
Give that
Minotaur
to
could
Blair.
eat steak.
Well, he is a cannibal.
Yeah.
Is that confirmed?
Well,
Oh, he has canines.
So
Yeah,
he
he
can
Yeah, that was something. That's actually like seriously. That was something that we were talking about when we were, like when Eric was modeling him. He's like, "Do I make?" Let's look at his teeth. Does he have canines? Did we end up
he
going?
does.
Yeah,
He's got kind of mangly teeth. They're not like the
Right.
flat cow teeth.
chompy.
Yeah, so there's some sharp bits. So yeah, I mean, he would eat meat. He is half bull, half man. I mean, like, why cut out like parts of your food chain?
Maybe he just eats chicken,
I feel like it's similar to
And
us eating like
fish.
eggs or something.
pigs, and probably Ganetians.
Someone asked if you could pull the tongue out.
No.
There is no tongue.
We didn't.
Yeah, like it's a little excessive when we're trying to make this game run at 60 frames per second to like put a tongue and a bones in the tongue. But I mean, like tongues add so much, like blowing raspberries and like sticking your tongue out, and like we should make it an effects pass, like emote like blow raspberries in your tongue that comes out of his mouth. Greg, that's you. So I'm just trying to get like a little bit of settle there. Like, and we can still like maybe the head like overshoots. I know like the horns are sticking in the ground. There's some parts sticking in the ground. The thing is, the ground's not even in the game, so there's going to be clipping. There's only so much that we can do. You know, like we can just continue to have it like settle, like. You know, like
And
you
on
can.
top of that, you can put some secondary motion on that jaw, so it just kind of flops around.
Yeah. See how that looks. Might be a little too much. Okay, so key here, and let's just soften that. Yeah. And you know, the same things go with for the fingers. So you know, you have them like kind of curl back in. Like maybe I just like instead of having them stop, I just have them continue to. Sorry, I'm not playing to the camera. You know, continue to kind of crunch in just a little bit all the way through the end of the animation.
James Goblin says they could have a racial ability to eat nearby grass for faster healing, Doggett.
James, I like the way you think. And in fact,
John,
oh, John says it's up. I guess we got to go.
I guess we're done.
Yeah.
You keep going.
I did an animation of him like ripping up grass and eating it, but we can't guarantee that there's. you can't guarantee that there's always going to be grass there. It's going to be like
It's true. You could be on a path. Or something.
path, or this was me like. I can keep going.
Are you being sarcastic?
I'm gonna be here like an hour and a half.
Okay, sweet. Well, we'll keep going as long as you guys are here. So why not?
There's like 2 people on there.
So anyway, like I did have an animation of him eating grass, but we're probably going to repurpose it for the eat animation, or it could be like an emote like later on. It just didn't work in all cases. I was hoping that like Greg with the magic of effects, it could be like him eating a paving stone, or like if there's a knight's body, he like rips off the knight's head and it's just munching on the knight's head because he eats everything. It's a cow. 4 stomachs. That's a lot of fill.
They have 4 stomachs. Is that how many they have?
I think so. It's
Max,
Yo,
how many stomachs does a cow have?
Ask Google.
4?
it's 4. I thought they had 4.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just asked me and I kind of threw.
How
a
many
number out.
stomachs does a cow have?
Let's see. Okay, I found this.
1.
It's 4.
What? How can Siri be wrong?
So cows have 1 stomach, but it's got 4 distinct compartments, so it makes it like.
Okay.
See, we've learned something.
I'll forget it.
So, Hariel, where was it? Do you have a textured version of this guy, or can you show us with this animation?
I don't know if I have it set up for that.
It is. Change it from clay.
I don't think I personally have the textures. Like,
Oh, you never got.
yeah, I mean,
I set it up in the avatar.
I-
Oh, now you've done it.
it's. Oh,
You also have it on performance, so default shading, high quality, and then you'll have to select the meshes and change them in the layer editor real quick. Select the meshes. Now right click and see, go to object properties. See where it says mixed, click that.
where?
In the
Mixed?
display properties.
Oh.
Mixed, one more time by object, and turn off show frozen in gray. You do not have the textures.
I do not
Wait,
have
wait, wait. Yeah, you do. They just had to load. Oh no, you don't have the
I
textures.
don't have the textures. I know I didn't.
Sorry.
That's my bad. I'm sorry, guys. But like, yeah, we usually have like a textured version of them, just to make sure there's no like stretching and stuff like that. Just I didn't set it up for this animation.
What is this? We're being rated.
We're being
We
rated.
got raided. We got co-bombed.
What's that?
I don't know.
Who's rating this? I don't know, but lots of people. Lots of people. I'm so lost.
It's co-bombed.
Yeah, this is something I don't understand. This, you know, like you
coalition. It's a big.
yeah,
group.
yeah.
Who is this?
It's certain things on the internet like you. That's when you realize you're too old. You're like, I don't get it.
No, yeah, it's a.
Co-Carnage.
All right, so some issues that we have right here, like you see the arm kind of like locking out. This is some problems with IK, so I'm going to have to ease this up. I kind of want to push it as far out as possible. Keep that dead Morgan Freeman hand down there.
They liked your confusion over the raid.
It's not hard to confuse me, guys.
It's quite simple, really.
Yeah. I'm from Alabama. I get angry and confused very easily. All right, let's save this. All right, keep in mind, like all the stuff that we're showing during the live stream, like I am keeping and I'm going to put into the game. So like all your input is just like greatly appreciated. Like positive feedback always is. You don't know, like I don't know everything. And it helps also to get like an outside perspective or a fresh perspective. I'm always like tapping Cook on the shoulder and being like, hey, what do you think about this? And he usually doesn't tap me on the shoulder. But
Did you see us get raided?
I will never watch that spot again. But yeah, like feedback's appreciated. Like positive feedback. There's don't be shitty people. That's the quickest way to, you know, like get somebody not to listen to you. Because it's like, hey doggy, what do you think of this animation? It sucks.
Good
All
feedback.
right, yeah.
Good feedback.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I'll just cry a little bit, complain to my wife about Cook or Doggett. Because I'm you right now.
It's true.
It's true.
It's very true.
So one thing I realized, because we're streaming, it does a hitch in performance in max, so we're not really getting like a true frame rate. Like 30 frames per second is like what I try to aim for when I'm animating. So things might end up being a little bit quicker once I stop streaming. So I'm gonna have to go like retime things just a little bit. But for you fledgling animators out there, that's something you need to keep an eye on. Like it's a pretty heavy character. Like he has a lot of polygons, he has a lot of bones in there, so, and he has multiple skin meshes in this scene, so it's kind of heavy right now. And also with the stream, it just kind of kills performance on my laptop. You know, you can get through this by doing play blast, but I'm pretty sure you guys wouldn't want to watch me like well, play blast is basically you take a video and it like makes sure that it's at that and plays it back for you. So, but I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to see me doing that over and over and over again. So it's rough. It's coming along. It tells a story. I feel like it's almost there. There's like to me, the stuff that stands out is kind of like in here. The swings can be a little bit looser. There's some rough edges through here. But all in all, like I feel like it is getting the point past to where, like, you know, I can just like clean this up and start focusing on like the torso, the arm, the head, the fingers, the face, the ears, the nose ring. If you notice, I didn't touch the cloth, I didn't touch the ears, I didn't touch the nose ring at all, because that's all like secondary stuff. Like if I change the animation and I've been concentrating on like this thing the entire time, and then I change the way that the head moves, then I'm going to have to go back and adjust that. It's just a waste of time right now. So it's all about like, you know, like bulking out with your animation. I see a bunch of comments.
Talking about Max is a good program. Looks pretty slick, like the Beast, Death Throes. Co-Carnage says for heavy streaming stuff, we should have a dedicated streaming machine.
Max.
You look at me as if
I know
have
you
infinite-
are the voice of Gordon. So
you know, I suspect if these streams are going to continue like they are, that is an investment we will likely make.
yeah, it's probably.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true. Yeah, we're still feeling this stuff out, and just, you know, it depends on how popular it is and how much you guys get from it. Because I mean, we do this. Yeah, we don't do this for our health.
James Goblin wonders how many boobs the female cow or Myrmidon will have. Well, we'll never know because there's no female Myrmidon. Oh. There's no female Myrmidon, Doggett.
Challenge accepted. No, this is male only class. He can have men can have just as many nipples as women. I feel Gordon coming out of his chair and running over here right now to unplug the computer because we know where this conversation is going.
It's true though.
So I'm going to put on my Gordon hat and just stop it right there.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, like.
I think I've never seen your filter go off so cleanly before.
When my filter goes off, it's bad. A million nerds cried out at once, and then were silenced. I was like, well, you're a Star Wars guy. Yeah, the Obi-Wan.
Yeah, that was close enough.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure somebody's typing it right now. Actually. Okay.
Do a co-did and do a charity event with shaving your whole head. his charity goal. Well, I shave my head anyways, so
Yeah,
I don't think that would really affect me all that much.
If you look at the very first video that I was in, I think it was the Todd's a Monster, the Ka-Chow where he dressed up like the male assassin. My hair was about down to here. And then my nephew kindly pointed out that I was going bald up here. And I have trails coming down here. And so I gave up on that dream and I just shaved it off. And so I've kind of been keeping it short since then. But charity is always a good thing. That was one of the great things about working with Todd. He was big about like what was that foundation? It was like a halfway house for like orphans or like children that don't have families. They're like coming in and out of foster care, and so like that we would do a Christmas tree every year with like ornaments, and they would have like the kids' name, their age, and like what they wanted for Christmas, and we all went and took the ornament and bought the present for them. And it was all anonymous. It wasn't like, it wasn't like a showing off thing. Look how much I give. It was all anonymous. They never knew your name, which was great. Like being a good person doesn't matter who's watching.
Next ingredier, I don't know how to say that. How long does it take you to make an entire scene with your character as of production? What does that mean?
Well, if they're talking about like how long does it takes to do animation, we try to aim for one animation a day. Sometimes it takes a day and a half to do 2 days, depending on the action. If it's just like a basic swing, that's like
might be half a day.
Yeah, half a day. But if like it's something more complex like this, I'll probably spend a good part of tomorrow. Probably it'll take me a full day and a half to like finish this out and call it complete, because I mean it's a long animation.
Yeah, this one's pretty long.
So,
but to get a full character animated in game, it's a couple weeks with both of us working on it. So.
Yeah, it's and we try to like we budget our time. Like there's certain things like we have like additive hit reactions. So every time you get hit, you have like the character like do that. We transfer those from character to character, and we really don't spend any time on that, so that we can spend more time on stuff like the attacks and the movement, trying to get that feeling good. Mm-hmm. Like you kind of have to like buy and sell your time in there. The death, we probably wouldn't have put this much attention into if it wasn't a live stream. So
probably true.
We did this for you guys. All right, let's see if there's anything that we can. Like this area in here kind of still bothers me, so let's isolate this. And save. Always save, guys. Always save. Just never know. Never know when like Cook kicks the power cord out from your computer or Macs.
What?
When you're setting up somebody's desk.
Where you're throwing stuff in front of our desks.
Throwing stuff.
Those giant tubs, so that we can't get to our whiteboard
We
anymore.
can't get to our whiteboard anymore.
That was under Todd's directive. I was obligated to do that.
All right, so let's look at this arm here. It like when it hits, it just kind of sticks. So, kind of want it to dip down a little bit. So let's just drop the shoulder here.
Kumone wants to have him roar on the last swing.
I do too. Let's do that. All right. Well, that is way more fun than this. I'll get to that later. Let's
make him roar.
Let's make him roar. Everybody likes to make him roar. So, and just do something simple as like like. Kind of works.
Yeah.
Might give it like a little bit more time. Starting about like a moving hold. So let's key everything here, and then let's just push everything out just a little bit. Just give your eye a little bit more time to read it. In. Out. See that arm?
Pop it a little
IK.
bit.
Yeah. Is the negatives of IK. Dead arm.
How long does rendering take? Rendering's done in
Real time.
engine. Yeah, real time in engine.
Yeah, rendering you would only do for movies, like, and ideally in like if we were working on a movie or a commercial, what I would do is I would do this animation, then I would hand it off to a render artist or a technical artist or something like that, and he would use, I mean, like, you wouldn't really render it straight out of Max. You'd probably use some proprietary software like RenderMan. And then like let him take care of it, and so the like render artists bring in the environment and like all the textures and the lighting and just refine it.
For what we do, we'll put it in our game engine, and whenever you play the game and do the thing, the animation will happen. So
Yeah.
it's all done in real time.
Yeah, there's a like some setup to get it working in engine. You have to export the FBX, and so what I do is I grab all the bones of the character, then I export select it, and then I name the FBX the name of the animation, and then I pull it into Unity, and from there we have something called an animator, and the animator is kind of like the brains. It's all the blend trees. It's how you blend in and out animations when they allow us to do the blends. Sometimes like Unity takes over, and so that's when you see like the kind of like the poppiness coming from like an idle into a run. Like we see that a lot, and it's something that we're aware of that we're going to try and fix. But right now, like that's not really something we can concentrate on. But it is something that we're aware of. Either we're going to do like our custom transitions to idle or to run to smooth it out, or we're going to have the engineers help us out with that a little bit. And there's also like stepping animations, so like when they turn, they have like their feet are moving when they turn.
Right.
That's stuff that we're all aware of. We see it in game, but right now it's just like combat has to feel good before we like
Those
do
are
all that
polished
stuff.
tasks.
Yeah, it's
That'll come with time once we have the game feeling a little better.
but yeah, all that stuff like getting it working like in the engine and reiterating. I mean, it could take upwards of a half a day, like setting up the correct blend trees and working out any kinks. And there's always something that goes wrong.
Yeah.
So that's also something that we have to budget in when we're making an animation, is actually getting it into Unity and then managing our animator. We'll probably do a video on like what the animator looks and like getting animation into the game sometime later if you guys are interested. If you are, just let us know, and we can do something like that so you can see like the inner workings, a more technical aspect of our job.
James Goblin wants to know if the color is going to remain the same. Yes, he's the bluish color. It's based on the concept.
Yeah.
And Drummer wants to know, is the front of his war axe going through the floor when he kneels down? I think it's just the shading. No, the axe is...
It's just a little bit. I'm gonna like that. That's polished pass. I'm gonna try and line it up. But something you can never guarantee is that he's gonna die on a flat plane. It might be on a hill, so the axe might be kind of like floating in the air. We can't really control like that much. We have some foot and arm or some foot IK to keep the feet planted on the ground, but you don't want to run that all the time because it is processor intensive. Like it's just more overhead that we don't really need, So, but yeah, I mean, like it's something that we can adjust, like unhide the controls, and we can do that right now.
Yeah, we don't know what that means. It's like one of those flash mobs. So with that was a flash mob.
It's going through his finger. I can adjust that finger, but yeah, we can just lay it down flat like this.
That wasn't a flash mob. What was it?
Just copying that keyframe over, and then just copy it all the way to the end. So that.
Shit.
Uh oh.
You hear that?
Yeah, I got killed my world space switching.
Someone wrote that guy giggling in the background a little hard.
Kind of wanted it to move a little bit. When he lifts it up, it kind of gives it like a little bit of noise. You know. Let's see what that looks like. Too much
Is
noise.
that supposed to be like a funny thing or a mean thing? Or, I don't know.
Is there a movement option or power animation plan where the Myrmidon is on all fours? His sprint is on all fours,
That's really
as
good.
is his raging something or other. No, one of his abilities has him running on all fours as well. When he dies on a slope or a hill, he should track to the slope of the hill. So there might be some clipping involved.
Yeah,
But-
we can't like account for all the different gradations in there, but like if he's on a hill like this, he should fall even with that hill. But like if you have like, you know, a bunch of uneven stuff like that, there's going to be some clipping
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
unavoidable.
We try to do as much as possible. So like during my polish pass, I'm going to make sure that the axe isn't clipping. The switches, like, because what happens when like we have two controllers, one for like, okay, I got to play towards the camera. So we have like a local controller for the axe when it's in the hand, then we have a world controller like when I switch it to the world. And so I need to line up these two controllers like right at the switch so that there's no popping or wiggle and stuff like that. So that's same thing with IK to FK. We got to make sure that when I'm going from FK to IK and planning it, that the IK controllers are exactly the same as the FK controls so that they don't like do something unintended. Yeah, I like that roar. Who was that? Do you remember?
That was back ways. Skookumoni. Skookumoni?
Yeah.
I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, that hand's still kind of bothering me here. I think it undid all that. Let's have it drift over this way.
Skookum 1.
Skookum 1. Alright. Have we showed them like any of the run or the sprinting or anything like that?
I think the one was in where I was showing in the game dev scene.
Yeah.
That'll be for another time.
I want to go ahead and show them your sprint. Cook did this awesome sprint for them, so if we're not meant to show it, you have about like 20 seconds to run in here and stop me.
Well, with the lag, we'll be showing it already when he runs in.
Who?
Oh, we've
All right, I'm doing
it's
it.
a sprint.
There you go.
You tell me. Tell me.
So this is his sprint. So he's going to go down on all fours and he's going to start charging at it. Move out of the way! All right, we're just kind of turning our wheels here. I think we're coming to the end of the stream. Guys, you've been fantastic. Any last questions before we sign off?
Did you tell him? Did you make the announcement, Doggett?
What announcement?
That Cook's pregnant, the baby?
I already have 3 kids. I don't know.
Ain't mine.
love to.
All right.
All right. I think
Yeah, you
we're-
guys
I
have
think
been
we're-
awesome. Thanks for being patient with me. We kind of fumbled through this death animation. It was a big, complex animation. We got great feedback from you guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you're on Twitter, follow me on at Doggett 3D, 2 G's, 2 T's. And usually I'm on there. I can answer any question that they will allow me to. I will be posting the final video of the death sometime tomorrow. So anyway, talk to you guys later. Let's cut it.
Doggett is love. Doggett is life.
Okay, turn it off, don't I? Keep
Yeah.
smiling.
Do you just like
Thanks, Doggett. Thanks, Cook.
Just act like you're frozen.
And thanks for watching, guys.
Smile and then freeze.
Freeze.
Okay.